On Zoom?
Via Zoom, via the magic of TV, we'll be speaking to him. Hopefully it doesn't cut out. That's the key. If it happens, it's going to be something special.
Oh.
And who would like to hear him give a rendition of his famous rap?
Yeah, we need that.
Yes.
Do you want to hear that? Yeah, of course you do.
I'm going to ask.
Any West Ham fans out there? I'm sure there are plenty. We will have Carlton Cole here. He's played 7 times for England as well.
Yes,
so
he has.
I really want to get into a chat about what those players will be going through right now, what they'll be feeling. I mean, there's so much pressure on them.
There's so much pressure, but I'll tell you somebody who never buckles under pressure is an MBE recipient, aka Leah White. You're going to be speaking to her, England's finest.
Faye White, absolutely, we will be. We've also got a bit of a quiz.
Yes, indeed. And a very important quiz where it's going to be a penalty shootout, inspired higher or lower type quiz. And then there are freestylers as well, Kirsty.
We've got the freestylers as well. Fantastic. But first, let's take a look at what Italy, or mainly, or England, can look forward to when they go head-to-head tomorrow evening at Wembley. Wow, how excited are you about this, about England against Italy in the final of Euro 2020 at Wembley? I'm joined by Carlton Cole. Carlton, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad, Kirsty. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. What about this? How wonderful is this to be in Trafalgar Square in London, where it's all going to be happening tomorrow?
I've never done a gig like this before. This is very strange to me. I've only passed through Trafalgar Square, so it's nice to be on stage in Trafalgar Square.
Right in the middle, exactly. We usually go round about, don't we? Yeah. And now listen, how are you feeling about this game tomorrow?
I'm quite nervous. Like, you got to actually understand the gravity of it. Like, it's a lot for these England boys, and they've done us proud so far. And I just want to see us go on to win it and just make sure that we bring it home.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about the intricacies of the game, more about Italy, who they're obviously facing tomorrow evening, a little bit later on. But let's talk about the tournament so far. How much have you enjoyed the Euros? Because I think everyone, we were just saying, Radzi and I there, I mean, everyone has really got into it, haven't they?
Yeah, like, for me, obviously, we've had to see it from a different angle this year. Obviously, it's a year delayed. I think everybody was excited, like when it was coming up until obviously COVID hit. So it's just nice to see people. When I've looked at the stadiums across Europe, and fans in the stadium just make such a big difference to the football, to the players, and to everybody that loves the sport. So it's just nice to see that everybody's on the same page and getting back in the stage and supporting their teams.
Let's talk about some key moments. Obviously, there have been some big highs, which we'll talk about in a minute. Obviously, there have been some lows as well. I know that you, probably like me, know Christian Eriksen. You will have played with him, against him?
Yeah, like when I saw it, I played against him many times. What a great player, by the way. And he's obviously one of those guys that the other teams respect, and the way you saw their teammates, how they responded to him when he was on the floor, like, and we saw it. It was very, I can't even imagine what he was going through, what his family was going through. Even his wife was on the side of the pitch crying, and I started to cry as well. I was at home, and it was just an emotional roller coaster. And then obviously when he came around again, you just started to realize how well the paramedics are and how a great job that people, first response, done, because he was clinically dead, and now he came back, and that shows you the drama of what this Euro means to people. And now we're seeing a great spectacle, and they deserve to be how far they got, Denmark.
Yeah, I was so pleased. I mean, I think everyone was so pleased to see Denmark get as far as they've got. Also, Christian is getting well again, and he's doing okay. I mean, obviously, it was just a horrible, horrible moment that shocked us all. Just tell us some key moments for you, positive moments. Which games have you enjoyed most, would you say?
I've enjoyed every England game, really. The Scotland-England game, that was brilliant.
Oh, yeah,
that was because I've got a load of... I played in Scotland for a little while, and I've got a load of Scottish mates, and they were giving me some banter and stick, and then I couldn't even respond to them because we didn't beat them. So that was one game that stuck up. But there's been some other games like I liked the way Holland were playing. Netherlands were really, really good. Ukraine got far, so there was a few underdog teams that done really well, which I liked and enjoyed to watch.
Yeah, let's talk about Magic Monday. As you remember, Spain, Croatia, it was France, Switzerland. What games which game did you see?
The France-Switzerland game, that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it that Switzerland won the game. They deserved to win the game because of the amount of effort they put into it, but it was so dramatical because obviously the penalty shootout, and I just knew Mbappe was going to miss it.
Just looking at that right now,
there. Yeah, it was there. Look, I don't like to laugh at people when they miss penalties. I've missed a fair few myself, and I know how. But mine was in the Premier League. It wasn't in the international stage when the whole country's on your back. So
how did you know he'd missed that? What? It
was just written like the way he was at the start of the tournament. There was a bit of fracas between Giroud and himself.
That's right. Yeah.
And then there was. And the way he's been for the last year, he's been a bit, I wouldn't say big-headed, but he's been egotistical. And I just knew that he'd wanted to take that the fifth penalty where he's going to be the man to try and dig himself out of a hole because he didn't have a great tournament. But that's my view anyway. And it didn't work out for him, and I just knew. But listen, he's young, he's going to grow from that, and hopefully he'll understand this is a team game and he'll do better next time.
And I just want to talk about Ronaldo as well. 5 goals for him. So, you know, I mean, so far, highest goal tally. Are we going to see that surpassed by possibly Harry Kane or Raheem Sterling? And they're both one goal behind.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Like tomorrow,
I'm feeling confident.
If one of them gets a hat trick tomorrow, then we've obviously probably won the tournament. So let's hope that one of them do surpass Cristiano, because Cristiano, at his age, is still like bringing out performances and being top goal scorers of tournaments and leagues and everything. So it just shows you how good he is. And he's not even the tournament no more, and he's still the highest goal scorer. So let's see what happens with him.
How does he keep going? I mean, it's incredible.
Well, Cristiano's he's a phenomenon. Like when you look at him and the way he trains every day, and he's just a great example for any sort of kid that wants to be a footballer. I know he's come from humble beginnings and come all the way up, and that's just through sheer hard work. Yes, he is talented, but the talent only takes you so far. Now, I know that now. Now I'm a coach, so I know how much talent takes you, and then how much you need to be physically and mentally ready to just go and take it to the next level.
I mentioned Raheem Sterling there for England. I mean, what a tournament he's had. How important has he been, Carlton?
I would say he's been instrumental. I think he's been the bedrock of our performances so far. Raheem, he hasn't been really getting a lot of credit over the years, but he's been still, when he puts on the England shirt, he's one of our best performers consistently.
I was going to say, why now? Why has he developed in such a player now? Is that experience? Is it confidence? He got his MBE as well, didn't he, just a few weeks ago?
So Raheem, he's always been a great player. But the thing about it, he's just... people just can't give him the credits that he needs and deserves. And I understand it sometimes. Some people have their favourites. If he was lauded like probably Jack Grealish, because Jack Grealish, everyone loves him because he reminds everybody of Gaza, you know, that sort of player. But when you've got someone like Raheem Sterling that can get the ball from deep and drive at defenses at pace as well, it's frightening. No defender likes to play against a player like that, and he's done an outstanding job for England. And I think he's carried the England team through the bad games when everyone weren't on the same page or playing well, and he's galvanised the team and got them over the line. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right. Carlton, for now, thank you so much. Round of applause for Carlton Cole. Thank you. More talk about England very soon, but let's get to Radzi. I believe he's in the mix in the crowd somewhere. Radzi, where are you?
I am just next to Rory. Now, Rory, how old are you, my friend?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well. And how old are you?
11.
You're 11, so year 7?
Yeah.
And how's year 7 been for you?
Good.
Bit strange, not going to school all the time.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is we're here to talk about the Euros. And just for anyone who was perhaps living under a rock for the last 10 years, who are you supporting?
England.
And who's your favourite player?
Mount.
Mount, he's done so well. Who do you think will win tomorrow in the final?
England.
And who do you think is going to score?
Mount, Sterling, and then for Italy, Insigne.
And so what do you think the score's going to be?
2-1 England.
And how confident are you feeling?
Quite confident that we'll win.
So if any England players are watching this now and they said, Rory, we need some inspiration from you, what would you say to them?
Well, enjoy it, but try and win. And you've got the home crowd to support you, so...
Listen to this. Rory, put it there, my friend. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk to some more people. This guy's been awesome, by the way. That was me speaking to his dad's phone. We're going to head over to another table. Yes, my friend. What's your name?
Hassan.
Hassan, how old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
You're 10, and you're with your brother, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And what's your brother's name?
He's called Omar, and he's 5 years old.
So Omar's 5, and are you a nice big brother?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a pause. Does he sometimes get a little bit annoying?
Yeah.
I bet he does. And who do you think's going to win tomorrow?
England.
England. And what score do you think it might be?
I think it's going to be 2-1, and England are going to score in extra time.
You've predicted it very well. Now, your accent sounds like it's possibly not from London or not from England. Where's your accent from?
My accent is actually Egyptian.
Wow! And were you born in Egypt?
Yeah,
So that's outside of Europe, but you're supporting England.
exactly, because I've lived here for 6 years of my life.
Dude, that is what we are talking about. Put a fist there. And for your brother as well. We're not going to leave him out. Yes, dude. We're now going to walk over to some other tables here. We're not going to leave anybody out. We're going to speak to some slightly older people. It's safe to say that a lot of the people here are very passionate about England. The weather is possibly flirting with a little bit of spitting right now, but it's not going to dampen our spirits. One iota. We're making our cameramen earn their money today as we're walking. Lads, let's talk business here. How are we feeling about England's chances tomorrow?
100% they're going to win, I think. I've got to believe in them. Prediction for the game, probably a 3-1 win England, I reckon.
3-1. And where have you come down from, dude?
Sorry?
Where have you come down from in the country?
Oh, from Blackburn.
From Blackburn.
Yeah,
And was it
northwest.
down... You've got tickets tomorrow?
No, unfortunately we haven't. We were trying to get tickets, and we were trying to get tickets for here, but we weren't lucky for it. So we just came here to see what it was about, and then we just got tickets just to see everything was going on today. But we'll see what happens for tomorrow's game.
See what happens. And just to yourself, sir, in terms of how do you think England have done over the last couple of weeks?
They've done very well. They've done everyone in England proud, all the fans. I think they're going to bring it home tomorrow, definitely. 2-0 England.
I love it, dude. I love it. Thank you very much. And finally, we're going to end on a table. Who should we speak to here? Who should our victims be? Have our people moved? Have our people moved? In fact, I tell you what we're going to do. We're now going to do a U-turn, an about turn. We're going to turn like Lewis Hamilton in his prime, forgetting about Max Verstappen. Dude, what is your name? We're going to move the Coca-Cola away like Ronaldo. What's your name, dude?
Louis,
Louis, and how old are you?
10.
And 10, how are you feeling about tomorrow, England versus Italy?
A bit nervous.
And how will you feel when the first ball gets kicked, do you think?
I don't know, really.
Do you have any predictions about who's going to win?
I think England 2-1.
England to win. So your dad looks like he's supporting Italy. Is that the case with what your dad's wearing?
No.
Oh, so he's supporting England?
Yes.
Do you have a favourite player?
Sterling.
Raheem Sterling. He's such an inspirational player, I think it's safe to say. But actually, Kirsty's now joined by people who are themselves inspirational. Kirsty, it's over to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Radzi. Great to be out there speaking to people. The excitement is definitely building ahead of this big game tomorrow evening. I'm joined by the Hammers for Work and Support Group with Danny, Neil and James here. Guys, welcome. Danny's a bit starstruck. Carlton Cole's over there. He's like, oh, Carlton Cole. Oh, yes. Guys, welcome. Tell us about your work. How did you get started?
We came up with a concept last year. We found that a lot of fans were losing their work during COVID. So we set up a Facebook page purely for West Ham fans to find work for each other. It started with about 2,000 members. We're now at 10,000.
Wow.
I think over 100 people have found work so far. We look after a number of charities, food banks. But it's been down to the community. It's West Ham fans helping each other. It's not us. Neil and I started the page, but without people's support and help, it hasn't worked. And everyone's got involved. We've had over 100 people find work. We've took soldiers off the street that were living rough during COVID. We've helped a number of charities, Irons Food Bank. Neil, what was the other one recently with a young boy?
Yeah, Robbie.
If you just offer your microphone, there we are. There we are.
We've got some apprenticeship schemes going, you know, to help give youngsters a start in life. So we've had some apprentices make the second stage, and my ethos for the group was supporting youngsters in inner London boroughs, really, and West Ham and out to Essex. So we've helped quite a few of those, and got a young lad at the moment who's we've got a little campaign. He's trying to get 1,912 birthday cards. He's got a bit of a life-changing condition. And he's fascinated with the Titanic. So we set up a campaign, and we're hopefully today or Monday we'll hit that 1,900 target.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
we sort of try to help as many hammers as we can, no matter what, you know. And so no, we're quite chuffed, quite humbled with the amount of support. But it's not me and Danny; it's the group as a whole, really.
No, completely. And James here is one of those that you helped. James, just how much has the group helped you, the support they've given you in such a difficult time? Just tell us all about it.
It started as an idea, and they made the group at the same time that I was thinking about doing stuff on my own. And so much about the work, it was more so the mental health they helped me out with. And it was to get me on my feet, give me the confidence to be able to go and do what I've done. So I don't know if it's the success story, but I believe that I am one of them that's helped dramatically out the group. And it's through the group that I've become a director of my own company. So,
wow. Yeah. And how's it going?
Yeah, we're better than I've ever lived, so I can't complain. But also getting people back into work is the main thing. So I've got 5 people that wasn't working back into full-time work. So yeah, hopefully it starts growing and keeps going.
Yeah. I think the other... sorry? Oh, wonderful. Oh, yeah. Lovely. And just tell us also, guys, Danny and Neil, I mean, it's not just the work aspect, the difficulty, it's also that you've given support, mental health support, because it's been a very, very tough time, hasn't it?
It's not Neil and I, there's people on there. There's a guy called Mark Churnside that has been fantastic. He helps people that have never lost their jobs or had to do CVs. So even putting someone's CV together that's never done it, there's people on there to do that. The support side came in. I mean, you think about parents that are separated during COVID. Dads that were single were looking at their kids through a window during COVID. They went out to see them. So the effect that has on the kids and on the parent is dramatic. So there's people on there to help with that side as well. Someone like James that was at a loose end. You know, it's helped a lot of people both mentally and get back into work, which is what we want.
And Neil, let me ask you this. What's the plan moving forward? I mean, obviously, Freedom Day beckons, the 19th of July. It's etched in all our memories, isn't it? I mean, how do you move from this situation to something, I guess, bigger?
You know, the plans were to help out during the COVID, but we're just in the cusp now. We just set it up to have a website set up. Someone's done that for us, because to come onto the page and advertise is sort of, it's free of charge anyway, so there's no charge for it. You know, people come on and put their plans on there. So the thing is just to keep getting bigger and bigger, really. And when the website's on there, hopefully it attract more people. I think someone told me on Twitter that we're the only group of supporters in the country doing something like this. You know, so we're quite proud of that. And being from the East End, West Ham fans, you know, that's the ethos that we believe in, trying to help people out. Really, it's no, quite proud of it.
Yeah, and just very, very quickly, next season going to be a good one for you, for Hammers.
Champions League.
All you need to say. Right, listen, thank you, Danny, to Neil, James. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
How exciting.
Yeah,
and you've got a lot to thank these guys for, but thank you so much. Let's get a round of applause for these guys. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I think that you absolutely, what an inspiration you are. important that everyone does get, of course, an equal opportunity in life and football, and it can be helped by that, can't it?
We're the ones who can make a change. We can only fight discrimination if we stand together as a team. And sign for an equal game. Join us on equalgame.com.
Well, who better to follow up the sentiment of equality than a man who's a pioneer of football, and specifically English football? I'm talking about none other than a man who made magic against Brazil back in the 80s for England, John Barnes. John, we've waited so long for this. How are you feeling, sir?
Relieved, because, of course, when you talk about winning a competition, it starts off with the first game of the first round, and you have 3 of those matches. So when we've been saying from the start of the tournament, you know, we're going to win it, and what do we need to do win it? What we need to do is win the first game, or get through the group, or win the second game. So obviously we've now gone through all of the processes of qualifying, the last 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and now we're here against Italy. We've got one more game to go. So it's really one of relief, because of course, once you get to the knockout stages, you lose one game and you're out. So we could have been knocked out in the last 16, could have been knocked out in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, but we're here at last.
John, absolutely right. But it'd be remiss of me, John, not to talk about the last 18 months. The pandemic, it's affected so many of us, but it also feels like it's almost brought us together as well.
Well, every country in Europe's been through the same thing. We're not unique. We're not the only ones who've suffered. But of course, the fact that we're now there will give the country a big lift. Obviously, you look at the semi-final against Denmark, for example, and the problems that they've had, and the way they actually went out to a penalty that may not have been a penalty. You have to feel some sympathy for them. But from our perspective, of course, you know, as you say, the issues we've had with COVID over the last 18 months and what people have gone through, and the fact that there are now people in the stadium, 60,000 people hopefully, means that we're getting back to normal. So yeah, it's a happy day all around.
We've come back to normal, but what is slightly abnormal is the response we've had from England. It's been a special tournament. What have you made of it?
It has been. It's been very exciting. The football has been fantastic. Notwithstanding that, even if the stadiums are empty, you would thought, well, you know, how intense would it be? How much passion would there be? How many goals? How much attacking football? But it's been the best European tournament that I can remember. When there was talk about 3 teams going through in the group of 4, I was a little bit skeptical at first, because I thought, you know, in groups of 4, you shouldn't have 3 teams being able to go through. It should just be the top 2. But what it actually did, it made the football more exciting, because any team could then feel if we could win one game, even if we finish 3rd by winning a game, we can get through, which is what happened to Denmark. You know, Denmark lost the first 2, and because they were still playing attacking football in the 3rd game, they went through. So it has made the tournament so exciting. All of the games have been fantastic. So this probably has been, in my opinion, the best European tournament I can remember.
A massive statement, especially from yourself, sir. It feels very much like England have improved throughout this tournament. How do you assess them?
Well, they've got better. Obviously, you know, we were, you can say fortunate, but you can only play who's in front of you. If you look at the other half of the group, where there was Portugal and Germany and France and Belgium and Italy, and if you look at some of the favorites, for example, you had the group of death with Portugal, Germany, and France, and you look at them and you can think, you know, they're 3 of the strongest teams, and every one of them went out in the next rounds, because it probably took a lot out of them. So as much as you can say we were fortunate to be the side of the draw, which meant that our hardest game was against Germany, because if you look at the teams we've played in Scotland, and then we played Ukraine, and we played Denmark, and these are games we should win. Nevertheless, our not only have our performances improved, the fact that our talisman and our main goal scorer, Harry Kane, has now, you know, got his goal scoring boots on, that really has helped us. Raheem Sterling has been our best player. Alongside, I think, Kyle Walker. You know, defensively, he's been fantastic. And I have to make special mention to Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice in midfield, because, of course, you know, those 2, as our holding midfield players, have been giving us the right balance to be able to go and do what we did. So it's all come good. Unfortunately, we have one game to go, which is going to be against a very good Italian side. But I think that the longer the game's gone on, the more comfortable we've seen, the better we've played, the more organized we've looked. So hopefully that can take us through to victory in the final.
John, you touched on a little bit of it there, but the big question is, what will England need to do to get the win against Italy tomorrow?
Well, very simply, score more goals than them. It's as simple as that. You know, when you talk about winning a tournament at the start of it, you're talking about having to perform in a particular way in the group stages. But once you then get to a knockout, you then say, yes, we have to play well, but we can have a bit of luck. And we have got a bit of luck with the penalty. And of course, now in the final, it's a similar thing. It's a one-off competition, one-off tournament, one-off game now in the final. So if we say we have to play well to win, not necessarily, because we can play badly and Italy can hit the post 5 times and we are lucky to win. Or we can play well and Italy play badly and we lose. So we have to have a little bit of luck. More often than not, the better you play, the more chances you have of winning. So we want to put in a good performance. But more often than not, it's about having a little bit of luck, keeping your fingers crossed, keeping together, and hoping that at the end of the day, you have scored one more goal than them. Or if it goes to penalties, you've scored one more penalty than them.
I don't know if we could handle it going to penalties once again, but John, I'm going to put you on the spot now, and I do apologise for doing this. It would be remiss of me to be stood here in Trafalgar Square and not to ask you to perform a rendition of your famous track. John, are you up for it, my friend?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, of course, I've been doing this from the start of the tournament, and there has been a rival song going along that the fans have all been singing. It's coming home, it's coming home. But this is the proper song. So, of course, we like the fact that it's coming home. But if you really want to inspire the players, all we have to do is you've got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the back, so catch me if you can, cause I'm the England man. And what you looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans. This ain't a football song. 3 lions on my chest, and no we can't. We're playing for England.
England!
Come on, England!
Yes, John Barnes, what an absolute legend. Thank you very much for that. That is what we're talking about. That has got us in the mood. John, you are a hero. Thank you very much. And the very first footballer I actually saw on my television screens. What a man, John. Thank you for your time. Fingers crossed we can do the business tomorrow. A man who produced magic against Brazil. He juggled the ball, no doubt, to score a goal back in 1984. And in fact, talking about juggling footballs, let's bring on some football freestylers who do just that every single day of the week. So can we have a massive round of applause for Skildy, Augusta, and Scott?
Working my fingers down to the bone. I've been building my kingdom up on my own. Got a destiny, baby, in a set in stone. Look at me now, look at me now. Slaving away 8 days a week. I've been shaking all the leaves off the money tree. And I'm harder than a dealer on a winning streak. Look at me now, look at me now. Can I get a witness? Can I get an amen? Before I make you a believer. You because you know I can make you a believer. You best be following the leader. If you don't know, then I'm a teacher. Time to testify. I'm making you mine. I'm making you just have faith. I'll make you a believer. I've been on my hustle every day and night. I'm flexing like a shark with an appetite. I don't need to bark when a guy did bite. Look at me now, look at me now. Can I get a witness? Can I get an amen? Before I can make you a believer. You best be following the leader. If you don't know, then I'm a teacher. Time to testify. I'm making you mine. you know I, you know, make you a believer. You best be following the leader. If you don't know, then I'm a teacher. Time to testify. I'm making you mine. I'll make you a believer. I'll make you a believer. I'm making you a time to test. I'ma make you a believer. I'm making you a believer. I'm making you a believer. Have some faith, I'll make you a believer.
Those guys are absolutely fantastic. Just try and do one of those skills, let alone in front of a crowd, let alone without a single warm-up. So thank you to Scott Augusta and indeed to Skillsy, who's doing it essentially with a mascot's outfit on. But we're going to go from that to something very significant and very sincere. And to do that, we're joined by Kaz, Amy, Lucy and Leah to talk about girls or Her Game 2, specifically that triplet. What does that mean?
So Her Game 2 is a campaign that we started up to tackle the sexism and misogynistic culture in men's football. We were finding that we were getting lots of sexist abuse on social media, but also it happens in games, in pubs, and anything surrounding football. So we wanted to start up a campaign just to sort of tackle it, raise awareness of it, educate from the lower ages, so like primary schools, and sort of make a change and make it better for the next generation.
So the actual images that you kind of conjured up with regards to the advert were just so evocative, and I'm a boy, I've never had that. To see that, it really resonated with everybody. Where did the idea actually come from?
So Kaz set up the idea. She received sexist abuse online in January this year, which really affected her mentally, and then she kind of came to all of us and asked you know, if we want to be part of this campaign and do this video, just sharing the sexist abuse that we've had. And for all of the girls, there's 12 of us involved, it was just a no-brainer, really.
And in terms of the reaction you've had, I mentioned it resonated with me, and actually a few of my mates as well. What's it been like for you guys to hear?
Yeah, it's been insane. I haven't really expected it to blow up. I knew it would be quite a big thing, but not to this degree. And it's just growing and growing. You know, within 2 months, we're here, so it's fantastic. You know, when I was experiencing sexist abuse, I was calling out for something like this to represent me, especially at football games, in the pub, on social media. And people made comments, and I didn't really think much of it, but sort of realizing it was actually quite sexist and wrong. You know, the game is for all of us to enjoy.
And how important is it to get women specifically and young girls into football?
Oh, so important. I mean, the future of the women's game is with the youth of today as well. And if we can get more and more girls going to men's football, going to women's football, that's only going to generate more interest into the women's game and also make women feel more accepted into the men's game as well, which is what we want.
And just as you were saying that, behind us here, we've got the images of the sorts of things that people say to you, which I guess it's shocking, but to me the most shocking part is that that's normalised.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I have to say, we were just talking about actually, since the campaign, it's really, really reduced, which has been amazing. It means the campaign's working. But yeah, before it was regular, every video, every tweet, there was something about my gender, yeah.
Where do you guys see the objective of specifically women in football and I guess women in sport, period?
I'd like to really see it, more clubs representing it, like Bristol Rovers came out the other day and said, you know, we're partnering up with Her Game 2. And I think that's really important, you know, for Rovers fans like Kaz and Lucy, for them to feel represented with their football club and have their feelings feel like they mean something. And I'd love to see more of that, really. Like, I follow Bristol City and use Swansea as well. So I think it'd be really great if we just get more clubs and more clubs involved to represent this and stand up for the female fans, because there is quite a number of them. And we just want to feel included like everyone else.
And that has extended out to specifically the women's football team, because the England women's football team sold out Wembley a couple of years ago. The men's team didn't manage to do that. What does that say for you about the future of specifically women in football?
I think the future of women's football is huge. There's such a potential out there, and obviously the women's team, they're off to the Olympics, so you know, we're all wishing them all the best, and I think they can definitely achieve something out there. But yes, like the women's Euros are coming over here next year, and I think there's going to be some really big crowds, and I really hope so, because the women's game is growing, but I think there does need to be work done to help grow it, perhaps more like stuff available for them, like grassroots level and like growing up, because there is a bit of a gap between like primary school age to secondary school age for female football.
And one of you here, I think, might be supporting a team that possibly isn't playing in the final tomorrow. Who might that be, Amy? You support Wales, so who are you supporting tomorrow, Amy?
I'm a neutral.
I like your answer. And just finally, to yourself, Kaz. So, the England women's football team, how much of an inspiration, in fact, in terms of getting involved, how can people get involved in what you do?
So we're all over social media. So we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our Twitter handle is @HerGame2, same for Instagram. And then if you go on Facebook and search HerGame2, we also have a website where you can contact us, so you can email us directly for any queries. And we're just here to support. So hergame2.co.uk if you need to find us on there. And yeah, if you've got anything you want to share, we like to use our platform to allow ladies to share their stories because they haven't really had that before. If they've experienced sexist abuse, they've had nowhere really to go. So we would like to use our platform to share people's stories and give that support to others. I mean, it's not just us that give support. Our followers, we've got 11,000 followers on Twitter already. We're less than 2 months old, so that's fantastic. And they're all so supportive, and they'll give you that support if you feel like you need it.
It takes a lot of courage to do what you do, so thank you for coming on here and speaking to us all and just shining a light on something that's really, really important. Although I imagine somebody who's possibly a real inspiration of really developing the women's game is currently with Kirsty now.
Radzi, thank you very much. And girls, you are brilliant. Love you all. Well done. I am with very much an inspiration for all those women and girls who want to play football. I'm with the fabulous ex-Arsenal and England captain, Faye White. Faye, wonderful. Got some fans out there, quite rightly. Delighted that you could be here. Before we talk about all things England and Euros, what about what the girls are doing with Her Game Too? How important are these campaigns?
Hugely. I mean, they just echoed so many of the things that I and my teammates had to deal with, and I'm talking like 2 decades ago. But we would have done it individually in isolation, but to have that kind of platform and that encouragement to kind of try and stamp it out is fantastic. And for such young girls to take that initiative and do it, it's really brilliant. So well done.
And it works, doesn't it?
Hugely, yeah. It's just it's not until you highlight it that people realise that it's actually going on, and those small little comments can really impact in a young girl's decisions to carry something on or to even do it. I was fortunate enough, I was quite stubborn and liked the challenge of trying to change people's mentalities and change it. And I knew if we could make England a better team and achieve more and show them that we can play the game just as well, then I could change those opinions. But it's also needed in the way that they're doing it as well.
Right, let's talk about England. I mean, can you believe this? Final against Italy. I mean, you're the longest-serving England women's captain, 90 caps. Harry Kane leads that team out tomorrow night. How will he be feeling? Just give us a little glimpse of that, Faye.
Well, pride, I'm sure, in how fabulous that they've performed already in the tournament. But to know that he's doing something that not many before him have done, obviously 55 years ago in a World Cup final, but not many players get the opportunity to take part in a final, and I was fortunate. In 2009, the England women's team got to a European final, and I suppose at this time, you're trying to prepare as like it's another game.
That's
right.
right.
Just like you're going out on a Sunday to play for your club team or another England game, but also in the back of the mind, you know it's such a momentous occasion, and it is, like John Barnes was saying, a one-off game that you know, you want to perform, you want to entertain the crowd, but equally you want to get the job done and get the win, because that's ultimately what everyone will remember in years to come. So it's about trying to be in that tunnel vision of it's another game.
Yeah.
Just prepare like you normally do, but equally, I'm retired now, and you kind of wish when you were there you would savor the moment at too. So it's really hard to get that balance.
It is difficult to get that balance because you've got the euphoria like they did when they beat Germany, and we saw those scenes. And you know, it's difficult to then regroup. But just how impressed have you been with Gareth and that squad, that team of guys that he's got there?
Yeah, well, Gareth's created something unique, I think, that we haven't felt towards the England team in a long time. And I think that's just his manner and how humble and his integrity that comes through the way he manages the players. And then kind of the stories of some of the players, and we almost feel like they're touchable again, and that they're just young boys living a dream, like they were when they were 5, to 10 years old, dreaming like Sterling of playing at Wembley. So I think that's that connection that has been so fabulous, and the fact that we can watch the games, and I've been quite relaxed in some of them. Even that Germany game, it was like, I've not felt like this, and that's the way that they've managed the game, I think, as well. It's not just their performances, but their ability to actually manage the opposition and the game.
That's right. And listen, it's the women's turn next year with the Euros in the UK. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, well, obviously it's been a year delayed as well, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be in this country, in stadiums like Old Trafford, at Wembley, at Brighton, at Southampton. In 2005, we hosted it, and it was just up in the northwest, and it was very small at that time, not a lot of media coverage, but now, I mean, you look at this tournament and then hope we can transpire it, because like say in 2009 we got to the final. In 2017 the girls got to the semi-final when it was played in the Netherlands. So there's a chance that they can get to the final without doubt, and everyone will expect in that, certainly within the squad when they're preparing for that next year.
Well, for now, Faye White, everybody, thank you very much indeed. We'll speak to you a bit later in more detail about that big game tomorrow night. But as I said, it is the women's turn next year. Here's what to expect.
Can football unite the world?
S'il vous plaît, déposez tous les armes. On va organiser les élections et tout ira du mieux.
11 kids, different cultures, different backgrounds, one common goal, and that's to be a team.
¿Para qué chutar una pelota? Y bueno, un día la chuté y me gustó. 増えてきたから友達は結構作れるようになる。
Hurricane Katrina destroyed our house, so it was tough. Not even a hurricane can force us to not play anymore.
I think the boys do drive, they try and get a free kick or a penalty out of it.
Tout le monde se prend trop la tête à essayer de mettre absolument des barrières partout.
Nunca vai ser o mundo perfeito. Aí já futebol que todo mundo diz. Eu não acho.
그냥 말 안 해도 딱 통하는 게 있는 것 같아요. 그래서
Football is a international language. Just pass, dribble, drive.
Just that round ball alone unites so many different people.
Welcome to Geneva in Switzerland. Some of the greatest names in European football history get reacquainted today.
When I soccer, I'll just be a normal girl.
At the time that you will start the game, you will be a hero, just to be there.
My feelings, butterflies. Lots of butterflies.
I will remember this.
Well, football truly is a global sport, that grassroots touching all four corners of the globe. The Euros final is in just 24 hours' time, but even that pales into insignificance when it comes to the big one. I'm talking about the Carlton Cole Quiz of Destiny. It's a very simple one, Carlton. It's penalty shootout format. We're going to ask Carlton a question. The answer will be a number. We'll then pass it over to our first victim, contender. And that contender will choose if that number in reality is higher or lower. If that person gets it correct, they've scored the penalty. 2 contributors will take part in this. If it goes to sudden death, we've got no plan for that. So hopefully it won't. So we're going to kick things off. Carlton, first of all, how are you with numbers and your knowledge of the wonderful game?
Well, the knowledge of the game I'm okay with, but I was never your strongest mathematics student.
We're going to put it to the test now, Carlton. It's been a few years since the GCSEs, but the very first question of the very first penalty of the Carlton Cole quiz is: how many goals have been scored at Euro 2020? How many goals? Now, I've got absolutely no idea. If I wasn't...
Okay, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark here, and I'm going to go with 75.
75, he's gone. I'm looking at the crowd. I'm looking at people's reactions. They're not too sure. Somebody is shouting higher. We're joined by Ruben. Ruben, you're stepping up to the plate, sir. Kasper Schmeichel is in goal. Where are you from, my friend?
Hull.
You're from Hull, the wonderful Hull. That was voted the least desirable place to live in the country in 2010.
How do you know that?
Because I'm from Wolverhampton, and that was third last. So you took the crown from us, Ruben. But today's your chance for glory, my friend. Higher or lower than 75, the number of goals scored in Euro 2020. The pressure's on.
I'm going to go higher.
He's going higher. How do we feel, higher or lower? They're in support of you. The answer is 140. It is higher. Yes, Ruben.
That's poor from me, by the way. I should have known better.
It's tough. This is a tough game.
Well, I didn't really get that many goals in my career, so I thought it'd be lower. I thought it'd correlate.
So, Ruben, that's one and done. Let's bring on our next victim, who hails from a wonderful part of the country. He's definitely supporting England. Ian, where are you from, my friend?
From Watford.
You're from Watford, so you're a local man.
I'm a local man.
What do you like with numbers?
Not that good like you.
What are you like with trusting Carlton Cole?
Well, he's a West Ham man, so I'm not sure.
Oh, wow.
An Arsenal man.
Are we
so
going there?
Making enemies.
We're supposed to be united.
Yeah, I'll trust him. I trust him.
Okay, here we go then, Ian. First question for you of the Carlton Cole quiz is: out of 26 players in Gareth Southgate's squad, how many has he used? 26 available. How many players has Gareth Southgate used to you first, Carlton?
Well, obviously, I think I haven't got a clue, but I'm going to go with 20. 20
he's going. Now, I have just realised a flaw in this game. If Carlton gets it bang on, it's impossible for our contender to get it right. But we're going to ignore that bit. We're going to persevere on. Ian, he's gone 20.
I think it's about 20, but I'm going to go just lower.
So you'll go it. What do we think, ladies and gentlemen, higher or lower? Quite split.
You said that all the time. You're going against the grain all the time, you.
Somebody said 21. The answer is 21. It's higher, Ian. Close.
I was close, though, wasn't I?
You were close. You were almost bang on. Okay, Ruben, come in again, my friend. Now we understand the format. We can begin to speed this thing up. So our next question. Switzerland goalie Jan Sommer made the most saves at Euro 2020, but how many did he save? That's the big question, Carlton. How many saves did the Switzerland goalie make in Euro 2020?
I'm going to go with 10.
10, he's gone. Higher or lower at Trafalgar Square?
Higher.
A lot of people are feeling higher. It's 21. It is higher. 2 penalties, 2 in the back of the net. All the pressure is on Ian. Ian, come in, my friend. Yet to get off the mark, but here's your chance. It's the Watford rivalry. It's what's done it for you, mate. There have been, next question for you, Ian, is there have been 17 penalties awarded at Euro 2020, not including penalty shootouts. How many have been missed? 17 penalties in Euros, not including penalty shootouts. How many have been missed?
Ooh. Been missed. I think it's a high percentage, but we're not going on percentage.
We're just going purely on number.
All right, I'm going to go with 8.
8, he's gone.
I think it's about 11. I'm going higher.
He's going higher. to totally expose the format of this game. He's absolutely bang on, which means, Ian, unfortunately, you couldn't have got it right anyway.
Oh, was it 8?
Well, it is 8.
Oh,
wow. He's
Sorry,
giving
mate.
a fist of respect. Ruben's delighted. Ruben's coming back in. He's 2-0 up. Everything to play for here, Ruben. Tomorrow will be the last match, but how many matches were played at Euro 2020 in total? Tomorrow's the last match, but how many matches are played in total? Carlton first.
Obviously, with my mathematics,
I'm struggling as well.
Struggling, so I'm going with. So there was 140 goals, yeah?
Correct, correct.
So let me do the averages. I'm going to go with.
That's a good way of doing it, by the way.
I'm going to go with 80 games.
80, he's gone. Higher or lower?
I'm going lower.
Or Ruben?
Lower.
Are you gonna go, he's going lower. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah.
It's 51. It is lower. 3 out of 3 for Ruben, by the way. Ian, come on in, my friend.
That's Ian, I think it's a setup here, mate.
Ian, here's your chance for glory. Ian, no pressure whatsoever, but if you get this wrong, you are out of the Euros. You are out of the Carlton Cole quiz. And Ruben, by the way, if you saw him, genuinely pumped his chest. He's elated. Here comes a question for Ian. How many times has Raheem Sterling played for England? That's a tough one. Raheem Sterling, unbelievable performance against Denmark, but how many times has he played?
I'm going to go with 52.
52, he's gone. Higher or lower, L's and G's, higher or lower?
Higher.
Ian's gone higher.
I'm going higher. I think it's 61.
You've gone higher. You need this to be correct to stay in. It's 67. It is higher. Ian is still in the game. Ruben, come on in. But Ruben, if you get this right, you've won. A lot on the line here, my friend, and a football to be precise. How many yellow cards have there been at Euro 2020? How many yellow cards?
I'm going to go with 35.
35. How are you feeling, Ruben? Higher or lower, Trafalgar Square?
I'm going to go... it's tough.
It's tough.
Higher?
So you're 3 out of 3 so far. The answer is unbelievably 145. It is higher.
Wow.
Ruben, congratulations. You've won the Carlton Cole quiz, my friend. Give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Ah, dear. So, how are you feeling, Ruben?
Very happy.
You trusted the crowd. They kind of did it for you.
Yep.
And what do we think of Carlton's maths? Were we happy with his maths on the whole?
About 60%.
You do like maths. You do like maths. Well, let's see if we can get your prize. It is a little bit behind camera, so Ruben will let you go and get your prize. There is no ball to throw in, so in which case you can head off, Ruben. Carlton, we're going to enjoy the fact that all the fan parks around Europe have had ovation everywhere. This is just one of them. And in case you're thinking, I didn't know they existed, feast your eyes on this.
Hello and welcome to Glasgow.
Welcome here to Copenhagen. Thousands of Hungarian fans.
Here we are in St. Petersburg.
At the Trafalgar Square Fan Zone.
In Rome, Piazza del Popolo. It's an incredible experience.
I am no regular citizen. Do you understand what you're witnessing? You cannot tell what the difference is. I want it all and I'm winning it. I do not care about opinions. Time to make a few decisions. So I can take a position. I'ma go get it. I keep on moving it out for me. Just do it and stop it. I'm not expressing no modesty. I can't see nobody stopping me. If there's a problem, I gotta solve it. Straight to the top, I can't see myself. I gotta grab it. There's no time for stalling. Number one stunner, don't have other options. Now I'm fired up. I'm sorry, brother, your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. I came from the ashes, I rise up.
Polska do boju!
I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I gotta go for the goal. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I want it now, I gotta rise up, I want it now.
This is Euros 2020. Budapest Fan Zone.
This is friendship.
This is family.
Euro 2020.
Football Village in London. It's going great.
We're having a good time.
Euro 2020 Copenhagen.
This is Fan TV Copenhagen.
Euro 2020 Fan Zone Glasgow is great!
It's amazing. It's sensational.
Rome, the best.
Fantastic.
We love it.
The place to be, number one.
I love Fan Zone in St. Petersburg.
Fan Zone is cool!
Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Come to play.
Wow, incredible scenes. What a tournament this has been. We're here. It is nearly the final. England, Italy at Wembley tomorrow night, rejoined by Faye White, Carlton Cole. And let's get down to the nitty-gritty, quite frankly. Faye, can England beat Italy?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, obviously. It's a one-off game, the pressure. But the fact that they're at home in their own stadium and the fact that we've never got there before, you would hope that they would go out and kind of think that they've already achieved something by getting to the final. So just play relaxed and how they have. You just want them to show, how good they have been in this last game.
Carlton, one thing I love about watching football is the reaction the pundits have to the game. You can see the nerves they have. So as a player yourself, what's it like watching England? How nervous do you get?
Oh, I get so nervous. Like obviously, when you're representing your country, you're nervous anyway. So, and I know a few of the lads that's out there, and I'm nervous for them. Like Declan Rice, Mason Mount. I love these boys. They're good boys, and I just want the best for them. So, it's more than nerves. It's passion. It's love, and you just want the country to do well, and they're a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, so much expectation. As an ex-captain of England, Faye, I mean, what will Harry Kane be saying to his players to kind of, there is so much expectation. They are at home. This is a final. Quite frankly, it's been a long time, 55 years. What will he be saying? What will be useful to those guys right now to hear?
Well, he seems a very calm individual, isn't it? And you saw when they conceded the goal, he was telling people to switch on and just, not panic, be patient. But I've heard a few of his interviews, and he's talking about how he's just trying to do the same routine and trying to make it normal again rather than play the occasion. You've got to play that game, and you just got to go out and perform. So I'm sure he'll be reminding the players that and of all the strengths and the good things they've already done in this tournament to make sure they can go out there and play free and enjoy the occasion as well and get the result.
As a fan, I watched the game. I've never been a professional footballer. What is it like just before the whistle gets blown and you are representing three lions, in this case, in the biggest match they probably played in their lives? What's that feeling like?
Well, I mean, they're going to have a full stadium almost, aren't they? And I'm sure their hearts will be pumping out their chest, but there's also getting that excitement and adrenaline, but also being able to keep the calmness and the composure and at a level where you can go out and perform. But yeah, it's trying to take it all in, but equally, you've just got to concentrate on your job at hand.
Yeah. Carlton, let's talk Italy. 33 unbeaten run. I mean, 33 games. Mancini at the helm. He's transformed this team. Who are the danger men? Who should we be looking out for tomorrow?
Well, Italy's midfield are unreal. I really think that's where their danger is. That's where the game can be won and lost. And I think as long as we can get about them and keep around them and stop them from doing their through passes and dominating that midfield, I think we can really win it from the wings. We've got, obviously, Raheem's in great form, and then you've got Kane dropping deep to try and help the midfield as well. So I just think that it could be won in midfield, but we have to attack it in the right way. They've got some great players, obviously. Immobile is a danger player. Insignia's a danger player. Spinazzola, obviously, he's not playing this game. He's been one of the men of the tournament. But then you've got loads of players in that team where I think that they can. Jorginho, remember, they've got so many players. Then you've got Chiellini at the back, and then you've got Belletti wanting to come on as well to come and do something. So they've got a lot of danger people where we got to kind of respect them, but don't give them too much respect and get about them and just make them uncomfortable.
It's anyone's guess as to who's going to win tomorrow, but there's no doubt at all about who wins the Best Dressed award because Mancini and Vialli.
Look at that.
Look at the styling and profiling here. This is far from the McManaman-Fowler FA Cup final white suit days. This is proper Italian chic.
Well, listen. You know the Italians with their dress code and their dress sense, they're always, like we copy the Italians over here in London anyway. We like the Italian fit, as they say. I'm wearing the Italian fit right now.
It's working, it's working.
But no, what I would say that I think that's a step above Gareth Southgate's waistcoat. Because, you know, the waistcoat from the last tournament, that was getting a lot of love, wasn't it? Like,
I was going to say, I think that our guys, I think Gareth's looking very dapper indeed. Yes. I mean, he's a cool customer, isn't he?
He definitely is.
He's like an unconventional cool. He's bringing chic cool back somehow.
With that polka dot tie that is now, I think that's his new statement, isn't it? Even Ian Wright was wearing one as well the other night, so...
It's fantastic. I tell you what, Gareth is coming out of this very well. Even a double-decker bus is named after him now, I believe, in Harrogate, which is fabulous. Right, let's talk about how this game is going to be won and lost. A lot of people, including myself, if I can dare say it, I mean, I think it's going to go right down to the wire. I think it is going to be penalties. Would you agree, or is that not how you see this playing out?
Well, I don't think England will be, they'll certainly prepare and practice them, but I don't think they will think we have to get it to penalties to have a chance to win this game. Obviously, Italy have had penalties already, so they might be that little one-up that they've had the confidence and the experience of doing it in this tournament. But equally, they'll be doing it at Wembley, where the crowd, I'm sure, will make an impact. But yeah, I don't think Gareth will be setting them up to think it's going to go all the way. We can win this game in 90 minutes, 120 if needed. Like he showed in the last game, he has the bench, you know, the quality on the bench to bring in. He was clever in the last game that he didn't put all his subs on early like the Danish did. He left a few and even put Grealish on and off again because of the tactics that required it. So I think we have more than enough. But it's obviously who scores first is going to be a big key one.
Can I ask you the big question? Which is, what is the best ever England football song?
There's a few. I don't know. It's got to be Football's Coming Home, surely.
How do we feel? Is it Football's Coming Home?
Surely.
Now, we heard from John Barnes, Kirsty. We heard his rendition.
I forgot about that one too.
John Barnes, yeah.
Should we have a Trafalgar Square rendition of It's Coming Home? It's coming home. It's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. It doesn't look like it is from that, and blimey, guys, that was atrocious.
We was alone on
we
that
were on our own. We're going to go one more time. I'm going to commit to this. This is Trafalgar Square. It's
Come
London.
on, let's
England
hear
are in the final tomorrow. It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home, it's coming. I'll take it.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
I was there with you, Carlton. There, all the way.
Quick predictions, guys. Quick predictions.
I don't like to predict. I always get it wrong. You've seen my quiz just but I would go probably, let's go 2-1 England in normal time.
Okay, normal time.
I was thinking the same, but the Italians are good at scoring, aren't they? We'll go 3-2.
3-2. Ratty, what do you think?
To England, obviously.
3-2 to England, of course.
My head says Italy. My heart says England on penalties.
Your mum's saying Italy.
My mum's saying
Because she's a Scot. But anyway, listen, let's get them singing in the background as we say goodbye. Come on, let's get them singing again. Come on, you're very good at it.
It's coming home. It's coming.
Let's hear ya.
It's
Come on, Trafalgar Square.
Football's coming home.
It's coming.
Let me just say a big thank you to our guest, to Carlton Cole. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you very much to Faye White as well, to everybody that has joined us, to our freestylers.
It's been
John
an
Barnes, I mean, how
absolute
is
pleasure.
that?
It's what an absolute honour that is to speak to a man who's a pioneer of English football. But this is all about celebrating England's chances tomorrow, celebrating football and celebrating us all coming together with a crowd at Wembley tomorrow in the final against Italy.
So we've got to look forward to the game tomorrow. Wembley, it is England against Italy. Thank you so much for joining us. Get behind them. I know you will. Is football coming home?
Absolutely.
I think it is. Goodbye.
Have some faith, I'll make you a believer.